Welcome back to the Riff Ram Review here on 88.7 The Choice on KTCU, your choice for college radio. My name's Ian Apisha, and I'm joined by Zion Trammell tonight and Seth Dowdle, who's doing a beautiful job from the studio, working on all the music and the bumpers for us. Thank you there, Seth. But now we're going to shift the conversation away from college football, and we've got to look ahead to this weekend, and starting with this Thursday, because the NFL season's back. I know we'll all be on our couches on Sunday for 7 hours of commercial-free football. Oh, my gosh. I can't wait for Red Zone to be back.
Was not even planned. That was not even in the notes. We just did that on a whim.
Yep.
Super excited for football to be back, NFL football at that. And we got to start off just quickly talking about the Chiefs and the Lions week 1. That's going to kick things off tomorrow night at 7:20 from Arrowhead Stadium. Should be a good game. I genuinely think the Lions could pull off an upset or at least give the Chiefs a pretty good run for their money.
How long has it been since the Lions were the quote-unquote favorite to win the NFC North? It hasn't. I don't think.
Were we even alive when it was?
No, definitely not. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I don't have an answer to the question. This is just a total.
Come on, Seth.
My guess would be 1900. Back, William McKinley was president and Theodore Roosevelt was the vice president. That's when it happened.
Yeah, the Lions have not won a division title since 1993.
Wow. So
when they played in the NFC Central.
30 years. Excuse me, I nearly said 20 years there.
This is we'll save it for the math potty.
Yeah, when they had Barry Sanders. That's what I was going to say is probably when they had Barry. But, yeah, it's been a long time. And it's exciting. I think the Lions, they've just had so much failure. If that's, I think that's kind of undermining how bad it's been.
You know what's kind of fun, though, about the Lions? You remember when they traded for Goff like 2 years ago? The whole discourse around that was Goff is like the guy that's going to, he's going to be the guy, but then the new guy's going to come in and Goff's going to, train him up. And Goff's going to be gone whenever we're competitive. Nope.
Yeah.
Jared Goff he's done it again. He is whimsied his way back into the I am the guy kind of role. He did it in Los Angeles, and now here he is doing it again to Detroit. And here's the deal, Jared Goff, all power to you. I think that this is, I've never been a Jared Goff hater. I think that he's, always been an average to slightly above, the cut of an NFL quarterback. And it's exciting to see him, lead what I think is going to be a really good offense.
Yeah, and it is his job to lose. Now, they do have Hendon Hooker, but I highly doubt that he would see the field. They also have Teddy Bridgewater. I feel like he's just been on so many teams the last few years.
Yeah, and Hendon's coming off an ACL surgery, so I can't imagine that he'll even
see the
be
field.
Available. Yeah, you're right.
So, but I'm excited for Jared Goff, see what he can do. He's been through so much as a starter with the highs of the Rams and that Super Bowl success, Super Bowl team, and then the lows of, 11 or 12, 0-13 or something. I mean, it took a long time for them to pick up a win that one year. And then, they had an interesting strategy in the draft. They got Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama, and they also got Sam Laporta, tight end from Iowa. So their wide receiver core it's nothing incredible, but who knows? I mean, they got Marvin Jones Jr., Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know why that wasn't the first name I said, but he's obviously a very talented receiver. I mean, I don't know. It could be something, and I think the Lions they'll be solid.
Yeah, and I guess I'll just start off talking about the Chiefs' defense here. I mean, the Chiefs obviously coming off of a Super Bowl winning season last year against the Eagles, but I still don't think the Chiefs' defense is some spectacular thing anymore. I think, it's been solid, but at the same time, we've seen the Chiefs just get into shootout games and rely on Pat Mahomes on that offense and to just lead them. And again, one thing I'm kind of excited about, and again, don't read too much into this. I think it's horrible that Kelsey's coming into the season injured, but this could open it up to be a pretty interesting game should he not play, depending on what it is. I mean, they listed him as questionable. I guess I'll just open it up to you guys. What do you guys think? I mean, how can the Chiefs kind of play without Kelsey if that's what's dealt to them on Thursday.
Or Chris Jones. He might not play as well. He's still holding out.
Yeah.
So they could be potentially, without their best guy on the defensive side and their second best guy on the offensive side. But if there is a team that can overcome that, it is the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. How to just kind of answer your question, how do they do that? I think that the answer is very simple, Ian. I think that the answer wears number 15 on his back and has the last name Mahomes also on his back. He's a superhuman quarterback, and with him you can do no wrong. And I think that if they are without Kelsey, I mean, do y'all remember the discourse about Tyreek Hill's gone? What's going to happen?
I was just about to talk about that too.
Me too.
Well, it didn't matter. They won the freaking Super Bowl. Tyreek Hill went and he was still good in Miami, but Patrick Mahomes was able to win a Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster as one of the primary targets.
That is wild.
Whose knee is apparently going to explode, which that's such a insane headline. I don't think that's true, but
There's a bomb in his knee. That's what that means, right?
Yeah, it's
attached to his ACL at all times.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's interesting because you look at this receiving core. It's nothing insane. You've got Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. When he's healthy, oh my goodness, he is so shifty. It's actually ridiculous. I love watching Kadarius Toney play. When he's healthy, and that's for like 2 games all season long. And so, yeah, without Kelsey, you definitely have to rely on these receivers to stay healthy. Now, if Kelsey and Chris Jones are out, I think the Lions win. I think they could win.
It might move the needle enough. The Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites right now. I don't know. I don't recall if that's after. It's definitely after the Kelsey news. It was probably a point or two, probably higher at that point. But if Chris Jones doesn't play, wow. I mean, and you were talking about it, the defense, there's questions surrounding that. And Chris Jones is definitely the centerpiece there.
Exactly. But no, I mean, really excited for NFL to be back. It's been something that obviously everybody's been waiting for. Yeah, preseason's been back, yada, 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 watching some of those guys playing and some young guys getting some reps. But again, we're just really looking forward to this game.
Hey, that Commanders-Ravens preseason game was a ton of fun.
It was.
That's about it, though.
Yeah, but there's some good headlines, though. We got Bryce Young for the Panthers, Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. The first time they've faced off against each other, they played each other last year, Alabama versus Texas. So I'm really excited to see what Bijan Robinson can do. There's a ton of preseason hype.
Oh, yeah. And I guess moving on to the next game that's on our radar, obviously being here in DFW, Cowboys Giants. It's exactly what you would ask for to start the season. I mean, this is going to be one heck of a game to start the season. We talked about our expectations or lack of expectations, perhaps, for the Cowboys from the last episode, but man, this will be exciting.
Yeah, it feels like the Cowboys play the Giants opening week like if it's not Tampa Bay, I feel like they've played the Giants so many times in week 1, and the Giants have yet to beat Dak Prescott since his rookie season.
Really?
Yeah, they beat him twice his rookie year, and they have not beat him since.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, and is the game's at home, right?
No,
it's away. It's first home games against the Jets,
it
week 2.
It is in East Rutherford, but then, the Aaron Rodgers and the Jets come to town week 2.
Yeah. So that'll be 2 very compelling matchups for the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys should win this game. I'm really excited to see what this new offense will look like. Obviously, the departure of Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy seems to take the reins of this offense, and with a new workhorse in Tony Pollard, he's going to have the keys to the running back position, and getting most of the touches. Of course, there's Deuce Vaughn as well, and a couple other guys
Rico
there.
Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
That's the name you're missing.
Yeah,
Come on. That's the most important name on the Cowboys.
I almost said Seth Dowdle. I'm not kidding.
Hey,
and then
we wish. We can all dream.
And, of course, a revamped receiving core with the addition of Brandon Cooks. CeeDee Lamb's obviously going to have a really solid season. But for me, I think the important thing is for Dak to obviously limit the turnovers and to just game manage and keep it simple. They don't need to do anything over the top. I think last season Kellen Moore, I think, made things a little difficult, a little more complicated than things needed to be for Dak Prescott, and the communication wasn't always there. I think they're going to simplify things for him this season, and I think it's going to pay off big time with a guy like Brandon Cooks who can stretch the field still, despite his age. He's still a very dependable receiver, and CeeDee's run after the catch is incredible. The Cowboys should win this game, and it's going to be tough for sure, but I do like the odds here for Dallas.
Revamped defense kind of as well. There's some new additions. Stephon Gilmore enters that cornerback room. And, they're going to be facing a Giants offense that a lot of people are very high on. It's going to be Daniel Jones. He's still got the keys. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that Daniel Jones would still be the quarterback of the New York Giants?
Good for him.
In 2023. Saquon Barkley, obviously we know what he can do. And then Darren Waller, new tight end.
Raider. Former Raider.
Yeah.
I know Ian's not too pleased about that, but it's a team that the Giants, this is going to be a good NFC East because I think every single team has expectations. Usually, even the Commanders have, new ownership and a new quarterback. They have, some expectations, I think, in Washington, and certainly they do in New York, right? They made some moves to try and, get that thing going again. I mean, hey, they were pretty good last year, the Giants. They made it to the playoffs. Now, they were on paper maybe not the best team, but they got the job done with the wins, and that's all that matters in the end.
And they have a great coach. Brian Daboll is an incredible coach. I really like everything that he's done with that team, and I think Darren Waller is definitely one of the under-the-radar moves of the offseason. And, yeah, the Cowboys have a really strong defense. Dan Quinn is a genius at defensive coordinator, and I'm excited. Obviously, Micah Parsons, probably a heavy favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. But, yeah, they've got a really good offense. Young receivers, Jalen Hyatt, what's his name? Hodgins, Isaiah Hodgins. I think he could be pretty good this season too.
Now, I guess just from a neutral standpoint, obviously you two, Seth and Zion, you guys are Cowboy fans. For me, looking at the NFC and just looking at the Cowboys, high expectations every year. McCarthy's entering his fourth season. If this season doesn't go to plan, what are the next moves? And I mean, just quickly, it doesn't have to be super in depth, but I'm just curious, what's the feeling around Cowboys fans, and if McCarthy isn't able to get this ship moving?
I honestly don't think that anything will happen to Mike McCarthy unless there's just a total disaster. I think that the status quo will be held unless. I mean, that's just Jerry Jones' MO. I mean, it took him longer than it needed to get rid of Jason Garrett. He's not gonna bite the bullet until it's pointed right at his temple. I mean, that's just how Jerry Jones operates. Now, what should happen, I guess, there's varying amounts of. A failure for the Cowboys probably would be to not make the NFC Championship game. That is a failure, right? But if Mike McCarthy fails to do that, I don't think anything will happen. I think that they'll just go into the next year trying to do it again.
Yeah, and no matter how good or bad the Cowboys are, that to me has been the expectation the last few years because they have not done that in my lifetime. And they've not made the NFC Championship game. And so that is sort of the expectation now. And I think Mike McCarthy, I honestly think Jerry will have a much shorter leash for Mike McCarthy than I think he's kind of hinted at that a little bit in the past.
But Mike stayed at his house, Zion, whenever he was getting interviewed. He stayed at Jerry's house.
Yeah.
They're good friends.
Yeah. I think Jerry and Steven, though, are eager to win a Super Bowl. It's not that they haven't been, but based off what they did this offseason, I think they're ready to take that next step. And I think a big important thing for Mike McCarthy is, can he run this offense efficiently, and can he coach this team to not have costly penalties? Last year, that killed the Cowboys. There were so many silly penalties that this team had, and that's all about discipline, and coaching is a big part of that. And I believe against the 49ers, they had a lot of penalties. And to me, that is something they have to clean up.
A lot of procedural ones. It's false starts, it's holds, it's offsides. It's
all the
on the offensive line. Yeah. Tyler Smith, when he came out of out of college, the big thing was penalties, and I feel like he didn't have too many penalties.
No, he wasn't
last
really
season.
the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was kind of guys. I mean, Zach Martin was kind of road with penalties too.
Yeah.
But Zion, as you know, Jerry is eager to do it his way, right? That's the whole reason that we've been in this same kind of song and dance since the 90s, right? When Jimmy Johnson was fired, he wanted to do it his way with Barry Switzer. And, he's been trying to do it his way ever since. And so far, Jason Garrett, that's his way. And then, Mike McCarthy, we'll see if they can get it done. I'm interested to see how it happens. I don't know how it will turn out. I am excited for the game. But the good news about the NFL is that a loss in week 1, unlike in college football, I will not be playing Hello Darkness, My Old Friend if the Cowboys lose on Sunday night.
Yeah. And just kind of finishing that thought off, right? Going back to what you guys said about whether or not McCarthy will, have his head on the chopping block at the end of the season. If they underperform, it's all about standards, right? And it's just like what you said, Zion. Cowboys haven't felt this winning feeling of success for a long time, since the 90s, right? And so how can you even say, look, we're trying to move on, so we don't want you anymore? You don't even have those standards that have been implemented over the last couple of years to even say that, hey, you're done here because you're not living up to what we have been, right? So, I mean, I do agree with you guys in the sense that I think Mike McCarthy is safe, but no, should be a great game for the Cowboys. We do have a couple more games we want to take a quick look at, though. Dolphins Chargers should be super exciting. Quentin Johnson will be making his NFL debut. Hopefully he'll have a solid first game there for the Bolts, and also Bills and Jets. I mean, these are two games that we've definitely circled on our calendars and we'll be tuning in for.
It's a fun time. It's back. We will be on our couches. I will be watching Red Zone. Will you all be watching Red Zone?
I will.
Oh yeah.
All right. There we go. And I think we're all watching the game tomorrow together.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So,
Thursday night.
It's going to be a ton of fun. If you're playing fantasy football, everyone, just buckle in to get ready for the ride. This only happens for 5 months out of every single year. Soak it all in. Football is back tomorrow night, and I'm really excited for, just it's always a fun experience in this country because we all join together with one thing, and we all like it a lot.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for this Dolphins Chargers game. I think it's probably going to be a shootout. Lots of talent at the skill positions for both teams. Of course, the Chargers' big thing this season is being able to close out games. That is something they have not done for several years now. New offensive coordinator, obviously, with Kellen Moore. Justin Herbert, I think, has gotten a lot of slack or a lot of criticism that is not deserving, at all. He's an incredible quarterback. And it'll be exciting to see Quentin Johnson come into this receiving core that has injury problems, so he could be stepping into that number one receiver role if Keenan Allen and Mike Williams go down. So I'm excited for that. And then, of course, with Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, they are probably going to be a playoff team this season. I really like their offense a lot with Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Garrett Wilson. So that'll be exciting to see. And a lot of pressures on Josh Allen this season. I think he has the most pressure out of any quarterback this season to deliver when it matters.
Well, definitely some really exciting games on tap for this week 1 of the NFL season. Again, kicks off tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football between the Chiefs and the Lions. But when we come back from this quick break, we'll touch on some baseball talk about that NL wildcard race that's just been super exciting at the end of this season. But we'll be right back here on 88.7 KTC, The Choice, your choice for college radio. You're listening to Riff Ram Review.